Hey guys, this is Mrs. Raider, or Sarah, or Bear, or, oop, that's falling, or Ageless, or Raider, or Frizz, or Sarah, or I think those are all of the names that I have. How many of you have a nickname that you go by besides your full name or besides your first name? I have many nicknames that I've acquired over the years, and nicknames are just so much fun. Like, it's a way to feel connected to your friends, it's a way to feel connected to your family. It's kind of like makes you feel like you're inside of an inner circle. Well, yesterday we were talking about different name lengths. We were talking about the name lengths of students in China versus the name lengths of students in the United States. And we were comparing the data between the two. What are some things that you noticed after you created the frequency tables that are behind me? Also, if you didn't get finished with your frequency tables or you have them and you want to make sure that they're right, those are the answers back there, or at least those are like the frequency tables that we're going to need today for our lesson. Anyway, how can you compare those two? Like, what are some things that you noticed about the two different countries? One thing that I noticed was the names in the United States are so much longer than the names in China. Like, were there any overlapping names in the 15 that I gave you? No. The largest name in China had 9 letters, and then the smallest one in the United States had how many letters? It had 10. So that just goes to show you, like, well, also, writing names in China might just be easier because you need less letters in order to do it. However, if you're writing it like with their calligraphy or with like their characters, I can't do it. I've tried writing like Japanese calligraphy and I can't do it. It's bleh. And Chinese calligraphy is even harder in my opinion. Maybe others don't think so, but I think that it's difficult. Anyway, today we're going to be representing this data in a second way. So we learned how to make a frequency table. A frequency table has to have it needs 4 things. It needs a title, which I should have done a better title. I put China, but I should have said the names of Chinese students and the names of United States students, but I just wanted to make it simple because I'm using it for my purposes for today. This isn't the homework that I'm turning in. So you need to have a title, and then you had to have a header for each one of your rows. So I did the letters in each name, or the number of letters in each name, a tally, and then the frequency of the tallies, like how many students had 6 letters, how many students had 15 letters, etc., etc. And so then I wrote 1 through 9. What did you notice about 1 through 3? There weren't any students who had only 1 letter in their name. That would be really interesting. Yeah, I think that it would be kind of annoying as well. Be like, hey, what's your name? Oh, Y? Why is your name Y? I don't know. Anyway, and then in the United States, there weren't any students who only had 9 letters in their full name. So if you have only 9 letters in your full name, let me know. That would be really cool, because like some people don't have middle names, and if I didn't have a middle name, then I would only have 9 letters in my name. So I don't know. Let me know. But anyway, we're going to be taking that today and representing in a different way. What is another way that I can represent this data? Well, we're going to be learning about graphs, so we can say that it's going to be represented in another type of graph. Today we're going to be making a line plot out of this, and if you're open to 1.1 in your module today, then you should know that it says 1.1 line plots. So you should know that we're going to be making the line plot out of it. And so you're like, okay, so what is a line plot? Basically, you're taking this information up here and you're going to be putting it on a line. The only difference is you aren't going to be counting all of those numbers. We're going to be doing it by a scale. So if you look at number 2, if you scroll down, like number 1 says, use your frequency table from yesterday to make 2 line plots, 1 for each class, use the same scale on both line plots. So actually number 1, it says use the same scale. What does it mean when we say use the same scale? When you're using the same scale, it means that you're counting by the same interval each time. So I need to use that for my students in China, and I also need to use it for my students in the US. Now for me, like since there isn't much of a gap, I might just count by 1. But since I want to practice using a scale, I'm going to be counting by 2s. So on my line plot, first and foremost, when you're making a line plots, you need a title, you need a line, you need intervals, and you need X's. So I'm going to show you how to set up a basic line plot. I'm going to draw my line, and I'm going to choose an interval. Since I'm only going up to 9, I'm going to count by 2s, or if I'm only going up to 15, I'm going to count by 2s. If I were to go up by like thousands, like if I was going from 0 to like 50,000, then I might count by like 20,000s. It just depends on how wide your data set is. So I'm going to start at, I'm going to go from 1 to 2, 3 to 4. I'm not starting at 0 because nobody has 0 letters in their name, I hope, unless you have a no name. But even then, you sign with an X. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now, if I was just doing this for the Chinese names, then I could stop at this 9, 10. And since I'm making 2 different plots, I can stop there. I can stop. So I'm going to put that right there. And now I need a title. So I have the line I need, and the intervals, I need a title. So I'm going to put length of Chinese names. So I have my title, I have my line, I have my interval, and now I have X. What do you think my X's are going to represent? Well, here each X is going to represent one of the tallies. This is where this tally comes in, like, it's very helpful. So from 1 to 3, I don't have any. So I don't need to put anything in the 1, 2 column. Nothing there. From 3 to 4, this is where people get mixed up. They look over at their frequency table and they're like, oh, I have 1 that says 3. And so they put a 1 in the 3 column. That's not what you're looking at. You're going to be looking at your first column, and wherever I see a 4, I'm going to put an X down in the 4 column. That is what is determining where you put things, not the frequency. That is the biggest mistake that I see when using line plots, is choosing the wrong thing to plot. You are using your tallies from the letters. Down here, this is labeled the length of the Chinese names, not the frequency of the Chinese names. So the length of the Chinese names, if they have 1 to 2 letters, I don't have any. From 3 to 4, well, 3 doesn't have any, but 4 has 1. So I'm going to put 1X. I'm going to use a different color so you can maybe see it better. Maybe. I'm going to put 1X right here from the 3 to 4. Next, I go on to my interval of 5, 6. Now, if you look at your 5 from yesterday, you will see 3 tallies there. And if you don't see 3 tallies, then you did something wrong, or I did something wrong. So there are 3 tallies there, so I'm going to put 3 X's. Now, do I move on to the 7, 8? No, because I only did my 5s. Don't forget the 6s. How many 6s do we have? There are 5 6s. So above this 5, 6, I need to put, or above these 3, I need to put 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next, I have my 7s and 8s. For my 7s, I have 2. For 8, I have 2. So I have a total of 4 X's there. And now I'm going to move on to my 9, 10. For 9, I have 2. And do I have any 10s? No, I don't. So I'm going to stop there. When you get finished, once again, you need to do the thing that Mrs. Rader always tells you to do, which is check your work. Make sure that you have 15 X's over here. If you don't have all 15 X's, you're missing a piece of data. So either your frequency table is incorrect or your line plot is incorrect. Double check your work. Always, always, always. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I'm going to count. I had all 15. Now, to triple check, I'm going to look at my 3 4s. 3 4s, I have 1. Good. Here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 3 plus 5 is 8, so that's good. 7 and 8, 2 and 2 is 4. I have 4 X's, we're good. And for 9, 10, I have 2, we're good. And that is how you make a line plot. That's it. Now, after we make our line plots, we can choose how to, I guess, interpret the data. So looking at this, what name lengths are the most frequent? Are 1 and 2 the most frequent? No. This is where people will also make a mistake. They're like, oh, like the most frequent are the 9, 10 because that's the highest. That's not what it's asking for. It's asking which names have like the most X's on it. That represents the most frequency, is the one with the most X. That's what your line plots are telling you. It also shows you how your data is skewed. When they're talking about skewed, it means it's pushed to one side or to the other. So where do you see the graph being skewed? Is it skewed toward the left or is it skewed toward the right? It's skewed more toward the right. Now, if I would continue to add on these numbers all the way up to 15, I might say that, oh, it's like right in the middle. But we don't. We're stopping at 9 because that's the highest that they have. We're stopping at 10 because that's the highest that they have. Okay, so that is one example for the United States. You're going to be doing the same thing. Should you start at 1? Well, we started at 1 in our table, so we're going to start at 1 there, and you can do the same thing, count by 2s. What are you going to notice about your table? What's going to happen on the lower end of it? Are you going to have as many X's on this lower end? Probably not. Why? You figure that out. Yeah. So I'm going to do one more example. This one has nothing to do with yours. So if you, with what you're doing today, like it has nothing to do with the packet that you're doing today, but it is another line plot if you want another example. So if you feel like you're good to go, then you can click out of this video and you can work on your assignment. But if you would like another example, I'm going to do another example up on the board, and it's going to be very, very, very similar. Let me, bear with me for a second. There it is. Okay, so I am going to do the same thing, but I'm going to do this with Korean names because that's what they have in the book. I should have done better planning. I should have done this with you guys' names. So I'll do that tomorrow when we do another one of these examples. But today I'm going to use the Korean names because that's what we have in our book for us to use. So, erase this. You'll notice that in order to make a line plot, I'm going to need some sort of like frequency table. So make sure that you have like a frequency table handy. Like you have to have your data organized some. Actually, you don't. I could go straight from like this graph right here to putting it on a line plot. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you how to take it from this right here where it has all of the names and the number of letters. And we're just going to put it right into a line plot because you don't have to have a frequency table. It just makes it nice because it's all organized. So let's get rid of this frequency table. I'm not going to do that. You guys have had practice with that. So we're going to make a line plot. For the line plot, what is the very first thing that you need to have? You need to have a title. So I'm going to title this Korean name lengths. Okay, and after, did I spell that correct? Yeah, I did. My spelling is atrocious, so I'm sorry if I misspelled something. After that, you need a line. Now, if you look at these names, what is the longest name that you see? You should see that the longest name is 12 letters. What do you notice about these names versus the Chinese names? Well, we can compare that later because we don't have enough data on the board yet to decide. So I need to go all the way up to 12. I'm going to count by 2s again because we don't have that much data. That's what we're going to use. Okay, so I'm going to start at 1. Okay, I only need to go up to 12 because that is the highest number that we have. So I have the title, I have my intervals that are the same every time. I'm not going to do 1 and 2 and then 3 to 6. That doesn't work. Okay, so now I need to start putting my X's. If you take a screenshot of this, then you can follow along, but otherwise you're just going to have to trust me with what I say. First one is 8, 10, 8, 12, 12, 7, 10, 12, 11, 9, 6, 8, 11, 8, 9, 7, 6, 9, 7, 11, 10, 9. Oh no. I think I put these in the wrong spot. Oh well. Whatever. And we're gonna, wait, no, I can't stop. 7, 9, 8, 11, 11, 9, and 6. Let's pretend that I did that correctly, but I think that I put some of my 8s into my 9s. This is why a frequency table comes in handy, and this is why I double check your work. So I took all of my data and I put it into my frequency table. I think, like I said, I think I put some of my 9s into my 8s. So if you double check that, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I should have 9 in this row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, I did it right. We're okay. We're good. Okay. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we're good. So, from this, what can you tell me about my Korean names? Well, most of them have between 7 and 12. What is the most popular one, though? If you were to count these up, and if we were to continue to keep going, you would see that 9 and 10 have the most in their category. So most Korean names have between 9 and 10. You'll see that it's skewed more toward the right. Most people have more than 6 letters in their name. Now we're talking about like the Korean names and how they're only 3 syllables. You can have 3 syllables but still have, you know, long names-ish. Like Raider is only 2 syllables but it has 5 letters. So, you know, it is what it is. Anyway, line plots, you're just making a line, you're making an interval, you are tallying up some X's, and then you're going to interpret data off of it. So like here, the question says, make a frequency table. What is the shortest and longest Korean names? The shortest name, well, I didn't do my frequency table, but the shortest name is going to be 6 from my data, and the longest name would have been 12. How would you describe the shape of the distribution? It is skewed more toward the right. Identify a typical name length. The typical name length is going to be between 7 and 12 letters is what we see, but 9 and 10 is the most frequent. Those are the types of questions that you need to be able to answer based off of looking at this, and you're using the amount of X's to help you answer that. If you have any questions about this, let me know. You can email me, and I'll try to like answer some questions in the next video if it is not clear. Or I can like try to Google Meet with you or something if you like feel really stressed out about it, because these are stressful times. If this wasn't clear, I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm kind of scatterbrained. I'm trying my best. Yeah, you guys have a wonderful day. I miss you dearly. I wish that I could be teaching this to you in front of you, because I miss having discussions with you. It's really, really boring trying to answer questions, like wait for you to answer questions, knowing that nobody's going to answer them in real time. So I miss you. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. If you do, don't tell me about it. Yeah, be good. I cannot wait to see you guys again. Stay safe, be wonderful, and I will see you hopefully soon.